What is the deal, beautiful people? My name is Uncle Rizza. Welcome back to the channel. Today we are discussing video game photography, something that has existed for a very long time, and I am almost embarrassed and ashamed to say I literally just dipped my toe in. Why am I embarrassed to admit that? Because I'm actually a photographer as well. And I've been at it for, I guess, almost 8 years at this point. And you would think that I would have gravitated towards photo mode in video games a long time ago, but no, I have failed myself. But anywho, while playing Cyberpunk, I accidentally hit the button on the keyboard to activate the photo mode, and I started to realize, holy shit, look how dope the photo mode in this game is. And that's a very interesting thing to discover, right? Because the photo mode mechanics in a lot of these games are oftentimes the same, but there's something about Cyberpunk and the way Night City is designed. A lot of credit has to go out to these guys because they use a lot of real world architecture concepts and constructs, and it really pays off. So much so to the fact that I can go around in Cyberpunk and create some amazing street photography as I would in real life. Holy shit. So once I kind of got down that road and I started to geek out, I said, wait a minute. There's a photo mode in a ton of other games that I play. Forza Horizon, Project Cars. Let me fire this up and really see what I can do. And I'm happy to report there is a ton of creative work to be done here. And for photographers out there who are stuck in the house because it's the pandemic era and you really can't exercise your creative vision, video game photography is where you want to be. And for gamers out there who have an interest in photography as a medium or an outlet, you need to start paying attention to photo mode in these games because you can sharpen your skills in game. I know it sounds crazy, but holy shit, it's amazing. So let's geek out for a second on photo mode and what makes it super dope, right? Let's look at one of the pillars of techniques or tools that you have available to you as a photographer that exist in photo mode in the games, and that's shutter speed. Shutter speed is a tool that's used to really convey motion or the lack thereof. You have the choice. Do you want to freeze frame? Do you want to like hit pause on a scene that so much is happening and you just want to freeze this one moment? Well, then you can do that. Or do you want to take, for instance, a car approaching the apex and you want to just blur it just a little bit to give that effect of speed and to give that effect of, well, I know that's an apex, I can see that, but look how fast it's moving. Look how blurred it is. That car must have been hauling ass. These are things you can do with the shutter speed option in photo mode that just ends endless amounts of creativity to your tool belt. Then there's aperture or depth of field. These two are tied very closely together. Would you like to make a subject pop much like you would in the the portrait mode on your phone? Or do you want to capture the entire landscape? So do you want to get the entire Red Dead Redemption nice sunset? You get what I mean? Like, this is also a great tool to have. And when you combine these two decisions, your depth of field and the amount of motion you want to convey, there is almost endless possibilities that you can achieve from photo mode. Here's another one I was very surprised to see in video games, because last time I look at photo mode in games, and I'm talking years ago, this wasn't a thing. There's now perspective zooming in photo mode in a lot of these new games. So I see it in Project Cars, I see it in Forza, I see it in Cyberpunk, and my God, it is a game changer. Pretty much what perspective is, it's about the focal length you choose. Do you want to be all the way zoomed in, or do you want to be super wide out? And the more zoomed in you are, the more of a hero shot you get. the more tight the angle, the bigger the background becomes in relation to your subject. On the other end of that, the more zoomed out you are, the wider of an angle you are, the longer you distort those lines. So think about it this way. You wouldn't want to have a super zoomed out photo of a character, right? Because it's going to distort their face and it's going to look weird. But you can have a super zoomed out shot of a car. It's going to distort the lines on the hood. It's going to distort the lines on the rims. And it's going to make them feel larger than life and like, holy shit, yes, dope presence. And on the other side of that, you do want to zoom in super tight on the subject or car, because that also gives you a really nice hero shot, right? Think about the portrait mode on your phone. That's essentially what the portrait mode is doing, is getting in there nice and tight, and is getting rid of all the noise in the background. We don't care about all the hills. We just care about this one thing and maybe a little bit of what's behind it. It's such an amazing thing to see that these game developers are baking in real perspective and how it works in real life. And then there's my secret sauce to this. As a photographer, I've got all the nice tools. I've got the Photoshops, the Lightrooms, I've got the Luminar AI, and I've got all these tools at my disposal, and I use them to really make the images pop. And I've been very pleased with the results, I gotta say. But my overall point is, the photo mode that we are seeing in a lot of these games are so full featured. It's amazing, especially coming from someone who owns 7 cameras and who's got a ton of work in the industry. Trust me, what I'm seeing in these games are in this virtual world, because virtual photography, I guess, is legit what they call it. It's 1-to-1 in what you can expect in the real world. What I mean by that, if you take the time to develop your photography eye in a game like Forza, looking at cars and what angles to best shoot a car from and how to accentuate the lines on a cars, there's no reason you can't take a camera or your phone in real life and execute the same exact thing. And I think that is amazing. And like I said in the top of the video, vice versa. For those of you, those photographers out there, because a lot of photographers do game, you need to start looking at the camera mode in these games. I get it. We can't go out there and we can't interact with models the way we want to. We can't run the streets the way we want to, but you can still exercise your composition in the game. You can still exercise creative tools like shutter speed and depth of field in the game, and you can get some very pleasing results. But don't let me tell it, right? I want to hear from you guys. Are you guys vibing with what you're seeing right now? Are you vibing with the images that I've been able to get? Are you vibing with the idea that you can exercise outside of the sandbox of a game that was delivered to you? You can go in there and exercise almost limitless creative potential. Is that something you're interested in? Hit the comments. And let me be clear here. This is a shameless plug coming up. I'm gonna drop my new Instagram, profile down below for you guys to check that out, because this will be dedicated to virtual photography. And then for shits and giggles, I'll drop a link to my personal photography YouTube channel in there for you to check it out, so you guys don't think I'm just talking out of my ass, right? You got to show some sort of proof, some sort of pudding. But anyway, virtual photography, super dope. Gaming photography, super dope. And I would love for you guys to just have a look at it. I think it's got some legs. It's coming up in the industry. It's got a lot of buzz behind it. If you enjoyed the video, do me a favor, hit that like button. And if you feel like doing me 2 favors, subscribe to the channel. We got plenty more content coming. My name is Uncle RZA, and I'm out of here. Peace.